Hi everybody, it's Tracy from Downward Dog Rising. I'm going to help you tonight unwind from your day. It's just going to be an easy, slow yoga stretch session, alright? Won't be too long, so join me. I want to do something to warm up your spine first, and then we'll proceed with our stretches, alright? So if you could come all the way down to your mat, you're gonna lie on your back, and then I want you to do something just to warm up your spine, your low back. I want you to tighten your abdominals in, and then I want you to imagine when you're on all fours doing cat-cow on your hands and your knees. When you do cat, your tailbone drops like this. I'm doing a pelvic tilt into the mat. When you do cow, the spine does a little arch. I don't want you to arch too much when you're lying on your back on the mat, but feel how you imprint your low back into the mat. Inhale, you let your back come up a little bit. Imprint the spine by scooping into your center, and just feel how you have to tighten your core to your back. And you just do these small little pelvic tilts, posterior tilt, neutral, anterior, posterior, hips to sky, neutral, anterior. And if any range hurts your low back, you back out of it and you do a range where there's no pain whatsoever and it's comfortable for you to do. 4, exhale, inhale, just let your back stretch, release. 3, feel the subtle opening in the front of your hip in the crease. 2 more. Exhale, inhale, 1 more. In between your 2 tilts is where your neutral spine is. So you're in your neutral, hips to sky, and then feel chest is open. And I want you to bridge by lengthening tailbone, press into shoulder blade shelf so you feel width here, chest open, and then just lower down. Inhale, tighten your core, send the energy past the hips, past the thighs, the knees, tailbone long, and bring hips down. 8, no weight at all in your neck, it's across mid-back. Come back in. 7, so you're stretching tailbone away from breastbone. Come back in. And 6, are your glutes aligned? Are your hips same line across? Straight back to mat. 5, exhale, abdominals tighten in, lower back down. 4 more, really scoop the core in tight, lower back down. 3 more, exhale. Feel how chest is open. 2 more, straight lift up, feel glutes engaged, straight back to mat. Last one, breathe in, exhale, and then gently bring hips straight to mat. And then just take one knee in, extend the other leg, feel the stretch across the front of this hip. Gently extend, stretch behind your knee, stretch hamstrings, back of thigh. 6, gentle little stretch. 5, and 4, 3, 2, last one. And then just hold for a second. Feel this hip open, back on mat, chest open. Inhale, exhale. Gently release. This leg goes down, this leg lifts up. Hug me in. Gently extend. Feel behind the knee. There's a muscle popliteus. Sometimes it gets tight back there. Feel hamstring stretch. And reach and stretch for 6, nice and easy. 5, and 4, stretch. Last one. All right. Then we're just going to take this leg down. And then I just want you to stretch arms over your head. Feel elongation from head to tailbone. Fingers stretch away from toes. And then notice how the 2 hip bones are neutral. They face above you. What I want you to do here, you're going to crisscross If it hurts your low back to cross the right ankle over the left ankle, what you would do instead of crossing your ankles, you would just have your feet go a little bit off to the left, and then you're going to take left hand, grab your right wrist, and then you're going to stretch overhead and gently start to think this is banana asana. Think of stretching your entire body over to the left. And then if you wanted to, take right ankle over the left, stretch up out of your center, grab a hold of your right wrist, start to pull and just elongate and just feel the nice stretch all through that right side of your body. You can adjust accordingly. If you feel any pulling in the back, you wouldn't go as far over with your feet. If your shoulders start to lift, where they feel like they're hiking towards ears, you would soften your elbows, bend the elbows, and feel free to just lay them on the mat behind your head. That way you don't feel like you're tightening or compressing your shoulders or your neck. See how you feel. Breathing in, breathing out. Soften. Just be conscious of the sensations you feel in your body. Have that awareness. Any tightness, bring your inhale to the tight spot. Meet it, greet it, and then exhale through it. Soften your chest through your breastbone, let it melt. When you exhale the air out of your lungs, feel how your ribs expand wide open and apart. Get that stretch between the ribs, along the side of your spine. Chest is open, collarbones wide. Breathe in. Exhale, softly release. One more deep inhale. Exhale, softly release. Uncross your ankle. Gently straighten your body so your shoulders are straight in line above your hips. And then go ahead, align shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, and then drop those shoulders down and back. Do a little bridge, reset hips, pelvis, so your body's straight. Slowly just bring hips, pelvis all the way down to your mat. And then what I want you to do here, you're going to extend your legs back out again, and you're either taking your legs a little bit off to the right side of your mat like this, or take left ankle over the right as your legs go over to the right. So we're doing our banana asana, other side, and then the right hand is going to grab the left wrist, and I want you to gently start to pull towards right side. You're stretching, you're lengthening. I have something behind me, so I can't get my arms down. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep pulling this side, so I lengthen left side of ribs off the hip bone. And then I'm just going to let my elbows bend. Like I said, you could modify if your shoulders are lifting. Since I don't have space, I'm just going to bring my elbows, bend them behind my head on the mat, and just stay here and breathe. Feel how ribs lengthen apart. They open wide as you inhale. Exhale, softly releasing. want to use deep diaphragmatic breathing to get that oxygen into the lower lobes of our lungs. If it's easier for you to think of breathing into your belly, you may also breathe into your belly as the air goes into the body. You'll feel those ribs expand three-dimensionally, all directions. You'll feel your belly expand. And then you soften, you release, let your breastbone melt into your chest as you exhale. Feel that whole side stretch and lengthen apart. Tailbone stretches long. Inhale. Exhale. If you felt a twinge or anything in your low back, you would come more towards your center until that twinge, if you ever felt that, goes out of your back. So make sure you're carefully feeling your body so you know how far to push so you don't overdo it. Just relax into the stretch. Feel how your ribs really inflate, moving apart. Chest is open. One more deep inhale here. And softly, gently release. Excellent. Gently uncross ankles. If they're crossed, recenter your entire spine back into the mat. So shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, everything's aligned. And then I'm going to ask you to take right knee, right ankle, place it a little higher than the left knee joint. Reach through, gently reach under the left upper thigh. I want you to flex both feet. Feel how low back is connected into the mat. And then you're going to gently use your elbow to glide that inner thigh away from you. And you're just breathing in and breathing out. Just soften into your mat. We're doing a lateral hip glute release. We'll also stretch out your low back. Feel the entire spine lengthen into the mat. As you soften your breastbone, you may start to feel the area, the thoracic spine, middle back, between shoulder blades. It might start to elongate and touch the mat. Come down a little lower into the mat. Chest is open. Feel how your entire spine elongates. That hip starts to release. If you want to go deeper, You could stay here with hands behind upper thigh, or you could take hands a little bit down towards the shin, hug in a little deeper, just to differentiate the top of the thigh where the hamstrings go into your glute. Feel that a little deeper into your glute. One more deep inhale. And softly, gently release. We're going to take that right foot down to the mat. Now we're going to crisscross our left ankle above the right knee. We're going to lift right thigh, reach under the back of your thigh, hamstrings. And then you can use that left elbow to gently guide that left inner thigh away from you. Away from your center, flex your feet, give your hips, your knees a little extra support. And just let your body melt into the mat, releasing the tension, unwinding from your day. Soften the chest, the breastbone, let it melt down so you can lengthen the mid part of your back. You can either stay here with your hands behind your upper thigh. If you want to go a little deeper, take hands, slide them down the shin, just hug in a little tighter, closer to you. Feel the stretch travel up the back of the thigh to the top of those hamstrings, going into that side glute, a little deeper up into that glute at the top. Soften into the stretch, yield, give into it. One more deep inhale. And softly, gently release. All right. Next, I'm going to give you something for your back to release. I'm going to give a little modification if you have osteoporosis or low back pain, as in herniated discs, spinal stenosis. I'm going to modify it so you can do this without actually twisting your spine. So if you cross one leg over the other, and then feel how your chest is open, your collarbones are wide, your arms are cactus. So the modified version, I want you to feel your tailbone on the mat and just stretch a little to the side, just to give a little space down the side of the back. So instead of flipping over where this hip lifts up, that's a spinal twist, you're doing less than the twist, just to create a little space between rib cage and hip bone. So you're just making a little room in there. So stick with your modification if that's better for you. And then keeping both shoulders down against the mat. If it's okay to do a spinal twist, go ahead and go a little deeper into your stretch. You could put yoga blankets under the knees as a support or yoga block. If you need a little extra support, just slide it under these knees over here. Keep chest open. Feel how the air enters the body, going down the chest, the esophagus, down into the lungs. You'll feel the ribs expand. Maybe breathe into your belly. Maybe just stop by breathing into the ribs three-dimensionally. See what works for your body. One more deep inhale here. Softly, gently return to the center. And then you're just realigning your hips, your knees, your ankles. And then I'm going to have you just bring this other leg. Sometimes I go this way, sometimes I go this way. So now cactus the arms. Feel tailbone heavy on the mat. If you want to modify and not do a twist, let the knees come over to the side a little bit so you feel elongation between this left rib cage, left hip bone without any compression on the other side. Make sure both sides feel open and just stay there and breathe. Expand into those lungs, into those ribs. And then if you're okay, it's all right for your body to do a spinal twist. You could go a little deeper. Keep shoulders down against the mat. And you're inhaling and exhaling. Feel collarbones wide. Let those ribs expand. You're trying to stretch in between those ribs, those intercostal muscles. You don't want to overdo anything. Just gently breathe into your stretch. If you feel like any twinges anywhere, come slightly back out of it. Listen to your body. Stomach's gurgling. I just ate not too long ago. Feel those ribs expand. Chest is open. Twisting helps your digestion too. And breathing slowly will help unwind your body, getting it out of your fight or flight response into your parasympathetic nervous system, where you'll slowly start to decrease those cortisol levels if you felt stressed during the day. Feel chest open. One more deep inhale here. Slowly, softly, we're going to come back to the center. Gently press into your feet, stretch tailbone away. And then I want you to just hug in, maybe reach under the knees. If it's within your practice, you can rock side to side across your low back. If your back doesn't like it, just hug in. Stay here for a moment. Lengthen head away from tailbone. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. One more time. You're going to inhale, exhale. I'm going to give you modification for happy baby. You could keep one leg bent. Reach to your big toe with your middle finger and index finger, like you're making peace sign. Or grab lateral pinky toe side of your foot. And you're just going to let your knee, your shin is parallel with the knee and ankle as you drop knee towards your mat. So this is modified. If you're just new to yoga, maybe you'd like this version better. Just soften into the stretch. Feel the crease in the front of your hip. You're just breathing in. Feel that crease. Breathing out. Softening into the stretch. You can also have this leg stretched long on the floor. Do what feels right for your spine. Half happy baby, Ardha Ananda Balasana. One more deep inhale here. Exhale, gently, softly release. We're going to release this leg. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles are aligned. Reach up, either grab big toe with index finger, middle finger, wrap it around, or grab around lateral edge of foot where your pinky toe side is. And then you're going to have your shin be parallel, knee and ankle, and then just bring that knee down out by your side. Just gently draw towards the mat. Feel the crease in the front of this hip socket. Maybe it feels comfortable to keep this knee bent to help stabilize your back and your pelvis more. You can stay like this if this feels comfortable to you. If you want to go deeper and it's okay on your back, you can extend this leg long. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel the release. Think of those two hip points pulling across to the center so that widens through the back of the pelvis. Feel that crease right in the front of the hip and the thigh. That femur bone goes into the acetabulum. That ball and socket hip joint. One more deep inhale here. And softly, gently, you're going to release that leg. Next, I want you to take the feet, bottoms of feet together. Go into a little reclined butterfly, little Supta Baddha Konasana. Collarbones are wide, palms to sky. Just let those hips open. Let that low back relax. Gently easing from sitting at a desk. If you sit all day on the computer, This is really nice for the front of your hips as well as your low back. Soften your breastbone with each exhale. Think of the divine abode, divine states of being, otherwise known as the Brahma Vihara. Think of sympathetic joy, if someone's joyful and happy. They just got married, they just had their first child, something very exciting happening in their life. Think of that sympathetic joy that you could feel for another human being, for something good happening. That's mudita. Think about compassion, true, heartfelt compassion for another human being or sentient being, any living being. You could have compassion for loving kindness, metta. Think of when someone has something awful happen to them. They lose a family member. They lose their home. Something terrible, unforeseen, some circumstance that's out of one's control. When something like that happens, think about having compassion, sympathetic empathy, upekkha, feel for someone's suffering, where you have a kindness towards them. Karuna, mudita, upekkha, metta. Also, upekkha, think of someone is in a crabby mood and they throw that energy, that toxicity towards you. Well, you have a choice how to respond to someone else's toxicity. You don't have to receive it or give it back and create a lower vibration. You can transmute the energy and you can just stay equal, like equanimity, and not react. Just don't let it affect you. Let it bounce right off of you. So the staying in the divine abode is a way of your mind, the way it receives input, and then the way the output comes out in your interaction with the world. Slowly, we're going to bring knees together and maybe just do a little baby windshield wiper, little tiny windshield wiper. And then what I want you to do here, you're going to turn towards your side. Take a moment before you press to a seated position. And we're going to turn and we're going to face our mat. And then what I would like for you to do here, we're going to do a little puppy pose, a little melting heart. So in melting heart, I'm going to ask you to go into a rest pose just for a second to feel your hip hinge. Pull your heart through the arms, stretch your sits bones behind you. Little rest pose first. Feel how your tailbone stretches one way, and then your heart pulls through, and you get your entire spine to lengthen. And just take 3 deep inhales and exhales into your low back here. We're going to come back here in a moment. You can have your toes curled underneath you if this is too much pressure on your knees. Like I said, we're going to come back to our rest pose. Hands under shoulders. Gently press up, lengthening head away from tailbone. Now I'm going to take you into a little melting heart. So for melting heart, your knees are going to stay in alignment right above your hips. So what I'm looking for, the joint angle, draw a straight line from your hip socket to your knee joint like that. And then you start to pull, feel tailbone stretch one way so the low back is elongated. And then you're going to start to stretch your breastbone forward, stretch your ribs forward, stretch the spine. Feel like your spine is neutral. You're lengthening tailbone back, and you're gently trying to stretch those sits bones behind you. And just breathe into the mid part of your back, in between the shoulder blades. Really stretch spine apart. Inhale. Exhale. If you wanted to modify, you could put a little yoga block under your forehead and just not come all the way down as far. Breathe in and breathe out. Stretch the front of the ribs away from the front of the 2 hip bones. Create a little length in there. Feel that upper mid back stretch apart. Feel the low back pull down. Those sits bones pull down towards the backs of those upper thighs. Stretch from the armpits all the way down to the palms. One more deep inhale here. Slowly, gently, start to walk those elbows back in. And now this time, I'm going to have you go back into your rest pose. And you're going to flip the palms up. And you're just going to come down to the mat. Get a stretch across that upper mid back. Maybe have the toes curled under, or you could be totally on the tops of your feet. See what feels right for your body. And just think of how you're not rounding the spine, you're hinging here. So it's like you're flat backing it over, hip hinge, and then you stretch those arms back. Inhale, exhale. One more deep inhale. Exhale, softly release. Walk hands under shoulders. Lengthen head away from tailbone. Lift head, neck, shoulders up. Now from here, I'm going to have you just do a little thread the needle. Think of hips stay straight forward. Pelvis is neutral. So your hips face forward in front. What you do, rotate around your breastbone, area between shoulder blades, mid-back, open chest. Then stretch under. Notice how my hips are still facing straight ahead forward. And it's the area between shoulder blades, mid-back. You twist through the center of your spine around your breastbone. So we're keeping that low back safe. Breathing into the sides of those ribs, expansion. Feel how the side of the neck lengthens. Your shoulders down away from this ear. Feel length. Stretch out shoulders, stretch out neck, mid-back, thoracic spine, tailbone long. Inhale. Exhale. Stretch those ribs apart. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Deep inhale. Exhale. Slowly walk this hand under the shoulder. Press up, untwist from mid-back. Go back to all four position. And then inhale. This arm's going to lift up. Chest is open. Now think of rotating around your breastbone. You're going to drop this shoulder down and back away from ear. Side and neck is on the mat. Maybe this hand stays under the shoulder. Maybe this hand extends out straight. Stretch tailbone away. Expansion into the sides of those ribs. Tailbone's lengthening. Middle back. Breathe into the space right in between those two shoulder blades. Exhale. Breathe into that space. And exhale. Feel those ribs expand. And slowly walk this hand under your shoulder if it was extended. Slowly push into your hand. And a little cat-cow. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, press those shoulder blades apart. Modify the rounding. You would just go neutral spine. If you have osteoporosis, you wouldn't round your back. Inhale, lengthen apart. Exhale, drop your chin, drop your tailbone. Inhale, and then neutral would just look like this. Like here's your cow, come into neutral. Here's your cow, come into neutral. That's safe for osteoporosis, so you don't bother your back. Avoid this type of rounding. And then we're just gonna come to our crossed ankle position, or easy pose, our Sukhasana. And that's it, we did it. That was our yoga session practice for this evening. And just remember, everyone, be kind to yourself and be kind to others, because you just never know what someone might be going through and what they might be going through in their life. And some people are very judgmental, and like today I was driving and I was at a red light and I saw a kid on one of those stand-up scooter things they scoot down the road or sidewalk on. He was on the sidewalk and I saw him hit the pedestrian cross. So he had the right of way when the right turn on red stop, but yield to pedestrians or someone crossing when they hit the button and they go across the crosswalk. They have total right of way when they have that white. And so I saw him and I was waiting, and he was looking around and he got his light to go on. And as I'm watching, the person behind me was laying on their horn like no tomorrow. And then I didn't give him the finger, don't worry. I just held up my hand and waved to him like, dude, you better calm down. And people are so quick to judge. And I was like, well, I don't care. He's honking at me. I'm not gonna run over the kid in front of me. Like, what's wrong with people, you know? But that's just a little tiny example. Anyway, I hope you feel like you've let go of anything that doesn't help you have a relaxing, peaceful evening. So feel lighter, feel more free, and I hope you can relax and just feel like, be kind to yourself. That's all. Have a good rest of your day or evening. I thank you for joining me, and I appreciate you so, so much. Take care. Peace, everyone. Bye. Time to go chill now. Chill for the evening. And I hope you can too. Sleep well. Bye. Peace.